evening. It is the 23rd day of December 2024. I'm Yvonne Aquara. Here are our top stories on Monday Report tonight.
Kuna trailer mbili zilikuwa zinakimbishana kutoka hapa juu kama walikuwa wanashindana.
Deadly Christmas crash. 8 killed in multiple accidents as truck rams several vehicles along the Narok-Mai Mahiu Road.
Alikuwa hapa anangojea tani yake ya kunyolewa, kukakuja double cabin silver, ikakuja na screeching stop, ikasimama, wakaendea kijana wakamchukua juu.
Another abduction. Family in Embu in agony as their son is abducted over alleged injurious social media post.
So many have been abducted, both Kenyans and other nationals. I actually believe William Ruto is, because you can't talk of state without talking of the person who must take responsibility. The buck stops with him.
It is a state house operation. Now Kenya leader Karua claims Ruto insiders running an abduction squad made of foreigners and some Kenyans.
The Fred called the mother to confirm that Kevin has arrived. Then in the evening they went for outing. He went to buy Kevin beer.
Man in custody after allegedly inviting and killing his friend in Nakuru. Yulan Zale is our sign language interpreter. Tonight we begin with a deadly Christmas crash. 8 people have died, several others injured in a multiple vehicle road accident on the Narok-Mai Mahiu Road. The crash, which occurred in the Dukamoja area of Narok County on Sunday night, involved 6 vehicles. And in a separate car crash, a senior State House official was this morning involved in an accident at Kijabe area along the Nairobi-Nakuru highway. Here's our reporter Jasmine Wamboi with the details.
A Christmas ruined for several families after an accident involving 6 vehicles along the Narok to Mai Mahiu Road left 8 people dead and others injured. Sunday night at around 10 p.m, a truck heading to Mai Mahiu from Narok suffered a tire burst. The driver lost control of the truck, rammed a saloon car, a matatu and an Nena coach bus.
Kuna hiyo trailer umeona imeanguka hapo karibu chini ya reli, imepasua mguu kutoka huko juu. Tukasikia mlio wa kupasuka kwa hiyo mguu, nikakimbia kutoka kwa poma, lakini kwanza niliona ni kama inataka kuingia kwa poma, nilikuwa ready kutoroka, lakini nikaona imeanguka.
Tulikuwa tunatoka Nairobi tukielekea Sori, tulikuwa kwa basi ya Ena. Kidogo tu tukaona trailer ilikuwa ime lose control, ilikuwa inakuja kama imekuja na Nissan nyingine ikapita nayo na ndio ikatugonga side moja.
3 of the people traveling in the matatu lost their lives on the spot. And just minutes later, a second truck speeding down the same road arrived at the accident scene hooting loudly, only to collide head-on with a Prado that was traveling in the opposite direction. 2 occupants of the Prado died on the spot, with the third succumbing to injuries sustained at Narok County Referral Hospital.
Ile ndio ilianguka kwanza, ilikuwa inaifuata nyuma kuona hiyo mwenzaka ameanguka, kujaribu kuguza brake, ndiye akapata hiyo Prado inapanda, ilikuwa inapanda na speed sana. Sasa hiyo Prado kupanda na speed ndio hiyo ikaipata head on. Ukienda huko utaona iko na mlango yake mbele, mlango ya hii Prado.
Mimi maishani mwangu sijaona ajali kama hii, ni mbaya sana, nimesuka sana.
This second truck also knocked down a motorcyclist, killing its 2 passengers on the spot. The deceased have been taken to the Narok County Referral Hospital mortuary, while the injured have been taken to the same hospital for treatment. And in a separate accident, a senior State House official and their family were this morning airlifted to the Nairobi hospital after they were involved in a road accident along the Nairobi to Nakuru highway. Jasmine Wamboi, Citizen TV.
A day after Citizen TV highlighted the abduction of Peter Muteti for allegedly posting an AI-generated picture of President William Ruto deemed offensive, another family in Embu is demanding the release of their son, Billy Mwangi, who was allegedly abducted in the same manner on Saturday afternoon. Mwangi's family says he was taken away by armed men who wore masks from a barbershop. The abductions were in a double-cabin pickup, with reports indicating he was abducted for posting another AI-generated picture on X, depicting the head of state that was deemed offensive. Gatete Njoroge reports the abduction has raised concerns, with two Kirinyaga leaders demanding answers from the government.
It is at this barbershop in Embu town that Billy Mwangi was last seen on Saturday at around 3 p.m. Mwangi, who had left home to go for a shave, did not get a chance to get a new haircut ahead of Christmas, as four armed men wearing masks stormed the barbershop and dragged him out before pushing him inside a double-cabin pickup. The vehicle then sped off towards Embu-Nairobi highway. The incident has sparked fear not just among family members who received the information from a witness, but also residents who witnessed the drama unfold in broad daylight.
Akaniambia kijana hapo alikuwa hapa anangojea tani yake ya kunyolewa, kukakuja double cabin silver pickup, ikakuja na screeching stop, ikasimama, wakaendea kijana wakamchukua juju, wakamtupa kwa gari. Akauliza nini nimefanya, wakamwambia utajulia bere. Those guys walikuwa mabauza, strong guys. Wakamwambia wewe kijana ingia, wacha maswali. Na walikuwa wamefunga mask, walikuwa hooded.
Since Saturday, the family has conducted searches across the county with no success. They say they are still in the dark over what could have led to his abduction, with reports indicating that a post he made on X platform with an AI-generated picture which depicted President William Ruto and which may have been deemed offensive could be one of the reasons he was a target of abduction.
Mimi serikali nilifanyia campaign ile hujaiona. Tukiwa na governor sisi Rebalile anaweza sema hapa tulifanyia hii serikali campaign mpaka ikashita. Mimi naomba Ruto, President, mimi namuomba tafadhali Ruto. Mimi nikumbuka mimi mzee. Kama ni wewe uko na hiyo kijana, kama ni serikali iko na hiyo kijana, tafadhali mimi naomba aachiliwe.
Ningewaomba watumie tu force kidogo, vile mzazi anarekebisha mtoto wake, ndio ningeomba serikali tafadhali msiwe na hiyo force kubwa. Guide hawa watoto na njia ya uzazi, kama nyinyi pia najua nyinyi ni wazazi.
Embu Police Commander Samuel Mudhamia confirmed receiving a report of the alleged abduction and denied involvement of police officers from the area. He says detectives in the area have commenced investigations. Mudhamia has, however, expressed concerns about locating Mwangi, as his phone was switched off minutes after his abduction.
Immediately after he was taken away, maybe around 400 meters from the scene, his phone was switched off. We are trying to find out his whereabouts.
The incident came just hours after another abduction case in Uthiru, Nairobi. Peter Muteti, a social media influencer who posted another AI-generated picture of the president on X, was kidnapped by four armed men at a local supermarket. Muteti's family is yet to trace the 22-year-old 3 days later. The matter is under investigation at Kabete police station. Kirinyaga leaders have condemned the recent abduction cases and want the government to come clean on the issue.
Mambo inayoendelea katika saa hii sana sana nyenzo za usalama, kushika watoto wadogo. Mimi nishikeni kwa sababu mshayenishika, mimi nimekomaa, miaka yangu ni mingi. Lakini watoto wenu jameni, wanafaa waonyeshwe njia, sio kushikwa, kuteswa na kufungiwa. Hilo si jambo ambalo tunaweza unga mkono hata kidogo.
Waachilieni watoto, wakija nyumbani, mimi ni wakili, nitajitolea niwape pro bono services. Kama ni nini wameshtakiwa, tutawatetea, haki ipatikane kotini, manake tuko na constitution.
Gatete Njoroge, Citizen TV.
Now, Kenya Party leader Martha Karua is placing President William Ruto squarely responsible for the abduction incidents witnessed in the past half year. In a sensational claim during an exclusive interview with Citizen TV, Karua alleged that the head of state is running a, quote, killer gang made up of foreigners and some Kenyans drawn from the military outside the police service. In a separate interview, Inspector General of Police Douglas Kanja says police operate professionally towards ensuring the freedom and rights of the people. Seth Olale with the details.
With the whereabouts of Peter Muteti and Billy Mwangi still unknown, 3 days after their suspected abduction, NARC Kenya Party leader Martha Karua has condemned the spate of kidnappings in the country.
He would not still be abducting young men just because they created satire on social media. If there is something alluding to death, surely which human being doesn't know that one day they'll die? It's not a criminal offense. It may be distasteful. I will not smile if someone is wishing me dead, but I will not sue them. I will not lift a finger. The worst I can do is to block them on my social media. If you want to sit on the top seat in the country, you better arm yourself with asbestos. Don't easily catch fire. Don't be ignited that quickly, because you're going to harm and hurt people. That behavior of arresting young men because they have created satire is the same behavior that made him cause the execution of so many young people. He was frightened of losing power, so he sent snipers to kill young people. That same behavior is the one that intolerance is the one that is making him continue with abductions. So many have been abducted, both Kenyans and...
The NARC Kenya leader claims that the killer squad is operating outside the established security structures.
And we know that the abduction squad is made up of Kenyans and foreigners, a select Kenyans, and it's outside of the police force. You remember Kanja being asked by Parliament and saying that it is not the police. To some extent, he may have been somewhat truthful, and he may have revealed without knowing, confirming what we said in a press statement, that the abduction squad has select people, mostly from Ruto's ethnic group, a few others, and they're both from military and police, foreigners from Uganda, from Burundi, and God knows what other countries, and their command is outside of the police force. So it's only William Ruto who can tell us, because the buck stops with him.
Asked to substantiate her claims,
to prove that it reports to him. How did Ugandan military enter and arrest Besigye in Kenya? They cannot operate without the knowledge and support of Kenyan authorities. They passed the border because we have gotten information from our clients. So what we are having is rule gangster style. Gangster style, abducting Kenyans, killing some, torturing others. Gangster style, abducting foreigners to Turkey, to Uganda, and letting gangster style people from other countries operate as though they were Kenyan security agencies.
Inspector General of Police Douglas Kanja has reiterated that the police are not part of the abductions and kidnappings.
You know, police officers are always at the forefront in the defense of the rights and freedoms of the people. That is actually our training, to defend the rights of the people. You see? So, now, abduction does not come there, because when you are abducting, you are not defending the rights of those people. But when you are arresting, you are defending the rights, because somebody must have committed an offense against the property or another person. You see? So we are guided by that ours is to defend the rights of and freedoms of the people.
IG Kanja revealing that other security agencies outside the National Police Service, including NIS, IPOA and ODPP, are actively involved in upholding the country's security. Seth Olale, Citizen TV.
Tonight, authorities are searching for the drivers and owners of 2 recklessly driven passenger service vehicles in Makuyu, Murang'a County, with the occupants captured on record endangering their lives. And though summons have been issued by authorities, the drivers and owners of the 2 vehicles are yet to record statements. This as government agencies heighten road patrols and checkpoints to combat drunk and reckless driving throughout the festive season as Kenyans travel en masse up-country. Ayub Abdikadir reports.
This 2-minute 5 seconds amateur video captured by a motorist some distance behind the recklessly driven matatus. On Thika Road in Makuyu, the county of Murang'a, prompted immediate response leading to the summoning of the drivers or the owners of the vehicles.
This one.
From the footage, some of the passengers aboard the 2 vehicles are seen dangerously dangling on the doors and the windows of the 2 matatus on a zigzag formation on a dangerous sharp curve. According to Central Region Traffic Boss Elizabeth Vivi, the owners or the drivers of the vehicles had until today to appear at Makuyu Police Station and record statements. A quick search to find information from the National Transport and Safety Authority portal reveals that the vehicle registration number KBH 889N is owned by Agnes Njeri Mwadhi and was last inspected in May 2024. NTSA data also shows that the owner of KCF 996R is Namuga Cooperative Savings and was last inspected in March 2024. Following the video that went viral, the Central Region Police Boss in a statement said authorities have summoned the owners to record statement, failure to which drastic action will be taken.
This one.
The festive season has witnessed a surge in cases of reckless driving on major roads in the country, and accidents that have led to loss of lives as Kenyans travel up-country to enjoy the holiday season. The National Transport and Safety Authority and the National Police Service have heightened surveillance on different roads, with cases of violation of traffic rules rampant and heavy traffic along major highways. Ayub Abdikadir, Citizen TV.
A family living in Nairobi is seeking justice for their 32-year-old son, who was stabbed to death by his friend 3 days ago in Kaptembwa, Nakuru West. Kevin Kitheka was invited to Seth Kiprop's home on the 19th of December, a visit which ended up costing him his life. CCTV footage from the apartment indicating the last moments before his lifeless body was discovered in the suspect's house. As Marianne Nyambura reports, police have recovered the murder weapon, which will be crucial for investigators to pin down the suspect.
CCTV footage retrieved from this apartment in Kaptembwa, Nakuru West shows the deceased Kevin Kitheka donning a black shirt and his friend, 30-year-old Seth Kiprop, donning a white shirt, approach the gate. 20 minutes past midnight, the friends knock on the gate, but the security guard does not open. They then attempt to unlock it before the guard opens it. The deceased, Kevin Kitheka, walks in first. Kiprop follows. The two are said to have returned home from an entertainment joint. It was the last time Kevin was seen alive.
The Fred, who is in jail, called him on 19th to come to Nakuru. He had promised to give him a job. So Kevin arrived in Nakuru on 19th, and the Fred called the mother to confirm that Kevin has arrived. Then in the evening, they went for outing. He went to buy Kevin beer.
At 1 a.m., CCTV footage shows the security guard making rounds to and from the suspect's house. Detectives say the suspect, Kiprop, gave the security guard food items.
Kevin was stabbed with a knife and I need justice to be done to my son.
This case, we would wish it to be fastened because it appears so direct. The murder or the boy who is alleged to have murdered our son is known. They were only two in the house. There are samples collected. There are DNA which would request to be done to counter-proof.
Reports indicate that the security guard who recorded a statement with police said that Kiprop attempted to escape that night, but after his earlier outing in an entertainment joint, he was unable to. That morning, he went to his workplace to seek a day off to attend to an urgent matter.
Right now, the scene was processed, and we have the suspect, who turns out to be his friend, Seth Kiprop Cherongi, with us in custody.
An autopsy conducted on the body of the deceased revealed that he was stabbed to death.
Ulikuwa na only one stamp wound, only one, a single one. Na ilikuwa katika the front of the chest, upande wa kushoto kidogo. So the cause of death here was blood loss and also injury to the cardiac muscles.
Detectives have recovered the murder weapon, a knife, which they suspect was used to commit the crime. Miriam Nyambura, Citizen TV.
Police in Bomet have arrested a Bomet University lecturer accused of defiling a 17-year-old girl. According to Police Commander Musa Omar, the suspect lured the 17-year-old student to his house and held her hostage for 3 days, during which he repeatedly defiled her. Concerned neighbors alerted the police of the incident, prompting the suspect to flee the scene. A manhunt was launched to apprehend him and is currently detained at Bomet Police Station, awaiting arraignment.
A young girl aged about 17 years was inside the house, which had been locked from outside. So when we talked to her, she said that the person who was living together with her and an elder sister in that house had allegedly defiled her, and several times for about 3 days. And every time after defiling her, he would lock her in the house before he left for his daily work.
The Controller of Budget, Margaret Nyakango, has disclosed that there is no budget for the livestock mass vaccination exercise set to begin in just about 2 weeks, stating that the country may have to borrow money to finance the campaign, which requires 4.6 billion shillings. The State Department for Livestock now says it is depending on the funding by World Bank to begin the process, which will gobble up 21 billion shillings over the next 5 years. Emmanuel Tor reports.
The contentious mass vaccination of over 70 million livestock countrywide for foot and mouth and PPR diseases may be in limbo as the Controller of Budget now says there's no budgetary allocation for the process in the current financial year. Speaking to Citizen TV, Margaret Nyakango said the program had not been factored in the first supplementary budget, which is in use until the second one is passed by MPs who are currently on a long break.
There is no such budget, There is no budget for vaccination. That I can tell you with confidence.
Repeat that again.
As far as the information I have goes, there is no budget.
The Controller of Budget, whose office is tasked with overseeing the implementation of the budgets of the national and county governments by authorizing the withdrawal from public funds, adding that the government may have to borrow to fund the plan.
I can only hope that perhaps a donor will come in and pick up the tabs.
So that cannot begin in January, the vaccination?
No, it won't. If it does, it will be on credit.
This now means that the budgetary allocations by Parliament will happen when Parliament resumes sittings from February 10th, 2025.
We have to wait for the second supplementary for us to know whether there will be an allocation for that vaccination. You know, even if all the paperwork is done, it's only Parliament that will pass the supplementary.
The Principal Secretary for Livestock, Jonathan Mweke, said the program was being funded through a loan by World Bank. The government maintains it is all systems go for the vaccination drive, targeting 22 million cattle and 50 million goats at an initial budget of 4.6 billion shillings and at a cumulative cost of 21 billion shillings after 5 years.
Hii Januari tunafanya national vaccination ya ng'ombe zetu zote, ng'ombe milioni 22 na mbuzi na kondoo milioni 50.
Rais, nimesikia watu wakiuliza hizi vaccines zinatoka wapi? Wengine wanasema inatoka kwa Amerika, wengine wanasema inatoka kwa Bill Gates. Rais, hapa nimebeba hii vaccine ya PPR na imetengenezwa na Kevevapi.
The vaccination campaign has encountered resistance from the opposition and the Kenya Veterinary Association, claiming the vaccine may alter the genetic structure of livestock. Emmanuel To, Citizen TV, Nairobi.
The government continues to face scrutiny from the Controller of Budget over rising concerns about wasteful spending and inefficiencies in budget implementation. In the first quarterly report for the financial year 2024-25, COB highlights mismanagement of resources, including significant expenditure on recurrent costs at the expense of development projects critical to achieving economic transformation. Dennis Otieno reports.
During the review period from July to September 2024, ministerial development expenditure had an alarmingly low absorption rate of 17%, with only 106.39 billion shillings utilized out of the allocated 641 billion shillings.
At the point at which we were preparing the budget for 24-25, there was a lot of hope, and many of the MDAs had very ambitious budgets in terms of development. Now, of course, the development was pegged on the revenues that we expected, including the borrowing that we were going to make. But when the finance bill collapsed, the story changed. And so you will find a lot of those projects that had been started already by the ministries stalled somewhere along the line.
In contrast, recurrent expenditure consumed 358.5 billion shillings, representing an absorption rate of 23% of the budget. The report also flagged high spending on non-essential areas like travel at 3.58 billion shillings and specialized supplies at 2.21 billion shillings, raising questions about prudent resource allocation. Meanwhile, significant development priorities such as construction and civil works and specialized equipment both accounted for just 10% of gross development expenditure, further highlighting the skewed focus of government spending.
Travel is one area which we can reduce comfortably without losing much. The travel is both international and local. If you went to Naivasha on any one day, you'll find a lot of government departments in hotels doing conferencing. And this takes quite a lot of money. Another area is hospitality. And hospitality is closely related, but this is expenditure in the offices.
The Controller of Budget identified several systemic issues undermining budget implementation, including delays in releasing funds, lack of adherence to approved plans, and poor financial reporting by ministries, departments, and agencies. The Controller of Budget also urges the government to rein in wasteful spending by prioritizing impactful development initiatives over recurrent expenses. Dennis Otieno, Citizen TV.
Let's take our first break here on the program tonight. But remember, we've got more stories to come, including that interview with Martha Karua. Seth Olale sat down with her reflections on the state of the nation and what the year 2024 has been like. That is all coming up right after this break.
Hiyo risasi ikaingia na ikaenda ikaguza spine. Na hiyo risasi haijatoka.
6 months down the line, survivors of police brutality still nursing injuries.
Tomorrow on The Explainer. Power Talk.
Techno Christmas Fiesta is here. Buy any Techno Phantom, Camon or Spark this season and you could win incredible prizes. Don't wait. Visit your nearest Techno store today and make this Christmas unforgettable.
These days, you have to shop smart as everything is so expensive. I shop smart. I always get a good bargain when I buy my mbogas from Mama Chege. I shop smart. I buy the 1 kg of Msafi, which costs the same as 500 grams of a popular detergent. I shop smart. Msafi removes tough stains and keeps clothes bright. And its pleasant fragrance keeps clothes smelling fresh. Chagua smart, value maradufu, na Msafi.
Is Dove better than ordinary soap? We're going to prove it. Take a barrel of your soap and Dove. Use yours on one side, Dove on the other. The soap part feels rough. The Dove side is softer, smoother, and more radiant. With 1/4 moisturizing cream, Dove deeply nourishes for radiant skin all over. Try Dove and feel the difference.
Anza mwaka na View Travel. Join our exclusive Cape Town trip from 13th to 17th January 2025. Discover Table Mountain with a breathtaking cable car ride. Explore Bo-Cap, Chapman's Peak, and Seal Island. Experience the Marine Big Five in Hermanus, hike Lion's Head, and enjoy tandem paragliding over the city. Enjoy this and more in 5 days, starting from $1,580 per person sharing. Visit viewtravel.com or call and WhatsApp 0703-254-254.
View Travel. Dream, explore, discover.
Kote nchini mbele tuendelee, mbele Kenya twende mbele,
Kenya twende mbele. NCBA. Go for it.
Krisi itadonjo na Royco. Ukisema pilau ama mchuzi rojorojo, wet and dry fry hadi nyama choma, hata ukitaka ugali greens na new chili cube pia itabamba. Zote zitadonjo ukieka Royco. Onjo uamini Krisi itadonjo.
Familia yote come through Krisi kwani?
Chaos.
Hichi imeisha tena.
Si unaona watu wanakula sana na hawashibi.
Mimi ni Njeri, jirani wa Auntie Beatrice.
Lazima kuna wageni huku umepangia.
Nguo chafu zinaongezeka tu.
Hakuna kupumzika maze.
We are hungry.
Don't worry, we've got you. Enjoy festive season offers on a whole range of Kappa products.
At Brookhurst International Schools, we shape tomorrow's leaders today. From early years to sixth form, our world-class education focuses on developing the whole child. With personalized attention, state-of-the-art facilities, and a multicultural environment, we prepare students for a global future. As the only school in Kenya offering the renowned International Foundation Diploma, we provide access to 110+ universities worldwide. Visit our campuses in Lavington and Kiserian. Join Brookhurst International Schools, where potential meets opportunity.
Cooking kuku for the whole family doesn't need to be tricky anymore. With Kikkoman,
Making delicious Kikoman stewed kuku is fast and simple. Kuku stew ikiwa tamu, get together ni fiti. Kweli, kuku ni kuu na Kikoman.
Take a risk with true love and be with the only man you have truly loved all of your life. Think about it, my dear. Please think about it.
Thank you for staying with us on Monday Report. Now, Interior and National Administration PS Raymond Omollo has disputed former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagwa's assertion that the state is complicit in the distribution and consumption of illicit brew in the Mount Kenya region. The PS also faulted Gachagua for trivializing a sensitive matter for political gain. His rebuttal comes as a section of leaders from Nyanza region called on the National Cohesion and Integration Commission to investigate the utterances of the former deputy president and sanction him.
The deaths of 3 people in Nakuru after the consumption of illicit brew has opened up a new frontier in the conflict between the government and the impeached former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. Gachagua sensationally accusing the government of being behind the consumption of the deadly liquor in the area.
Machifu wameambiwa muachane na hiyo pombe. Wacha hii watu wakunywe wakufe. Polisi wameambiwa muachane naye, wacha hii watu wakunywe wakufe. Ati ndio idadi yetu ya wapiga kura ipungue.
A statement that the state vehemently denies. Interior PS Raymond Omollo terming Gachagwa's utterances as reckless. He says that the government does not produce, distribute, nor retail any alcoholic drinks, and insinuating that any executive can direct the sale of any alcohol, whether poisonous or not, is mischievous and misconceived.
Tangu wanitoe kwa kiti, ile pombe yote mbaya ya kuua watu.
The PS also disputed claims made by Gachagua that the government had licensed more than 50 companies to manufacture the illicit brews that find their way to Mount Kenya. According to Omollo, the government conducted a thorough vetting of second-generation alcohol distillers and cleared only 15 to continue operating. Omollo further terms Gachagua's claims ludicrous, made in bad faith, and disingenuous of a man who served the country at the highest office on such a sensitive matter that deeply impacts families and lives. Leaders from Nyanza are asking that the government takes stern action against the former deputy president. The leaders want the National Cohesion and Integration Commission to investigate Gachagua's utterances.
And I want to call on the National Integration and Cohesion Commission to take this matter very, very seriously and investigate it. And he needs to be brought to answer and to provide evidence that this is so. I believe that any organization that does business in Kenya does it under license, and they do it based on business needs. And if there are any organizations that are not properly licensed, that's an issue for authorities to be dealt with, which he needs to point out.
The government has also challenged him to make official complaints against those officers he claims are involved in the plot to encourage illicit alcohol consumption in the mountain region. Brenda Wanga, Citizen TV.
Wiper Party leader Kalonzo Musyoka says Dr. Koki Muli is the right candidate to represent the IEBC selection panel. Kalonzo heaped praises on Muli, saying she's an ideal candidate for the post of IEBC chairperson and not just a member of the selection panel. The Wiper leader was referring to the dispute that has rocked the Azimio coalition. In October, Azimio picked Dr. Koki Muli as the representative of the minority party, but was unable to forward her name after Augustus Muli, who says he was validly elected and therefore the proper nominee moved to court. 2 cases in court are currently at the center of the current delays in constituting the IEBC selection panel.
Because of what happened in 2024, the political history of our country has taken a different dimension. It is not going to be possible for anybody to steal elections again. And that will not be allowed. It will not happen. And I want to challenge any Kenyan, if there is a more qualified Kenyan to serve, not even as a panelist, but even one with ability to replace Chebukati. Dr. Kokimoli qualifies. He's the most qualified. If people believe in qualification. Lakini wakaweka vikwazo mahakama, eventually Kokimoli won. What does badala ya won? I remember Robert Mbui. I remember calling you. You are with Speaker.
Now, the anti-government protests witnessed between June and August in the country left more than 600 people nursing injuries, including bullet wounds, deep fractures, burns, soft tissue injuries, and the effects of tear gas inhalation. Scores of those who are injured are still admitted in hospitals, a good number recovering back at home, while others have healed and are living with the scars of protests. Our reporter Gatete Njoroge spoke to some of the victims whose lives changed for good following the protest that left at least 60 people dead, with 26 others still missing.
When we meet Esther Wangoi at her home in Ruiru, Kiambu County, we find her scrolling her phone, looking at pictures of her nephew Brian Mwangi, who is admitted at the Kenyatta National Hospital. He has been there for the last 4 months. KNH has been his home after he was shot during the anti-government protests of August 8th in Karatina, Nyeri County. Mwangi, who is an orphan, has been bedridden and half of his body paralyzed after the bullet, which is yet to be removed, lodged near his spinal cord.
Kijana bado hajawahi kutembea, bado kijana hajawahi kutolewa risasi, bado kijana ageuki kwa sababu ashakuwa paralyzed. Huyo kijana anakuanga na maumivu mingi sana kwa sababu wakati implant ilipata kupatikana na lakini hawezi akawekwa kwa sababu alipata hizi bed sore.
Wangoi says at the moment doctors are dealing with bed sores because of the long time Brian has been bedridden.
Daktari wanasema ile kitu ako haezi akaingia theater kama ako na hizo bed sore. Sasa wanajaribu kutibu hizi bed sore, wanakuta zingine zinatokea.
A distraught Wangoi is concerned about the ballooning hospital bill, which currently stands at 600,000 shillings and which the family cannot raise.
Lazima uamke asubuhi, uende ujitayarishe, uweze kupada fare hapa. Huwa natumia every day, natumia kama sijanunua matunda yoyote kwa barabara natumia 350. Na saa hizo huna matunda umemnunulia 350 per day. Ni kijana wa miaka 29. Sasa ona maisha yake. Maisha yake imekuwa sasa ni kugeuzwa.
The family wants the government to shoulder the responsibility of ensuring Mwangi gets the required treatment, as his injuries are as a result of overzealous police officers who used live bullets to disperse protesters.
Wasamaria wema wenye wanaweza saidia watusaidia at least, sababu hii ni kitu ilitukuta, hii ni kitu imetupata kama familia, hii kuenda kuangalia mtoto daily. Huyu ni mtoto hana mama yake, hana baba yake.
In Botori village, Kisii County, Daniel Mageka lies on his sofa following a church service on TV. He is unable to go to church as his movement is limited following injuries sustained during the anti-government protests in Kisii on the 25th of June. Mageka was hit by a tear gas canister which left him nursing a knee fracture. He also suffered burns.
Kitu ilitufanya tukaenda maandamano ni wakati uchumi ilikuwa imeenda juu. Na hii bill president alikuwa anataka kupitisha ndio ilifanya watu wakasikia vibaya uchungu, ikabidi watu waende maandamano street.
Mageka, who was among more than 30 people who were admitted at Kisii Referral Hospital with injuries, says his life took a turn for the worse as a result of the deadly protests.
Tangu siku hiyo wakati niliumia, kazi yangu imekuwa iko chini sana ya kufanya. Sababu nilikuwa najitafutia, nilikuwa natoka naenda kazi kidogo na narudi kwa nyumba, lakini sasa siku hizi sitokangi. Tangu huyo wakati sitoki kwa nyumba.
For a man who requires physiotherapy to fully regain movement, the 36-year-old says he is unable to afford the services due to financial constraints.
Madaktari waliniambia ya kwamba nahitaji kuenda hiyo mazoezi na wanatakikana kunifanyia mazoezi hiyo mguu huko hospitali. Sasa hiyo pesa ndio labda zinafika zinanipea changamoto kupata kwenda huko.
Mageka, who feels forgotten by the government despite his injuries being inflicted by security officers, does not regret participating in the protests as the Finance Bill 2024 was withdrawn and government is considering Kenyans' views on important matters.
Tangu aumie nimeona shida, maana yeye ndiye alikuwa anashughulika, analeta kitu tunakula. Tangu aumie sasa tunakaa tunateseka.
Mora is however grateful that his son, though with injuries, came back home alive, unlike the 26 documented by KNCHR, who remain missing for more than 5 months. For Mwangi and Mageka, their only hope is that they will be able to get proper treatment, recover and resume their normal lives. Their plea to the government is to ensure justice is served and for IPOA to conclusively complete investigations into cases of police excesses. Gatete Njoroge, Citizen TV.
Let's take another break here on Monday Report. We are back with that Martha Karua interview. From broad-based government to abductions, we engage North Kenya leader Martha Karua.